It is 11:48 at night. You are almost asleep. The window beside your bed is cracked open 2 inches, and through that gap comes the sound of your yard, that low, rolling pulse of crickets filling the dark, the way breathing fills a quiet room. Constant, automatic, something you stopped consciously hearing years ago. And then it stops. Not gradually, not one by one, all of them, simultaneously. In a single second, your yard goes from full sound to complete silence, so fast the absence feels physical, like a door closing in a distant room. Your body registers it before your mind does. You go still. Your breathing slows. You are suddenly, without choosing to be, completely awake, staring at the ceiling, listening hard to nothing. Your yard is right outside that window, 12 feet away. Something just happened there. You lay there in the dark. You were right to listen. Welcome back to Backyard Night Mind. If you are new here, subscribe before you leave, because what you are about to learn will change the way you hear your yard after dark forever. Tonight we are going through 6 things that sudden cricket silence is actually telling you. A live warning system running outside your window right now that almost no one knows how to read. Stay until the end, because the last one connects you to something 300 million years old. Number 1, the alarm. It was never random emotion. Surprise vertical bar. Oh, I know that. Wait, that is what it is? That flat, total silence, the kind that replaces a full yard of cricket sound in under a second, is not random. It is not the crickets resting. It is not wind, or a change in temperature, or a coincidence. It is a coordinated alarm, and it was aimed at something specific. Researchers at Cornell Lab of Ornithology, studying field cricket populations, documented what they call a synchrony cascade, where a single cricket detecting a nearby threat goes silent within 0.3 seconds, triggering silence in every cricket within a 40-foot radius. That silence spreads outward at the speed of sound, reaching a full yard in under 2 seconds. The first cricket did not wait to confirm the danger. It went dark immediately. Every cricket around it, wired to mirror sudden silence from neighbors, followed without hesitation. That silence you heard from your bedroom started with one cricket. 12 feet from your window, it detected something you could not, and in under 2 seconds, it had told every other cricket in your yard exactly what it knew. Tonight, pay attention to where the silence starts. If it begins in one corner and spreads, something entered your yard from that corner. The crickets just showed you the exact location. Number 2, the gaps. The partial silence you've been ignoring emotion. Mild unease, vertical bar. I heard this and dismissed it. There is a quieter version of this you have almost certainly heard and never thought about, those brief 2 or 3 second dips in cricket sound. Not full silence, just a lull before the sound returns. You have heard this hundreds of times. You have never known what it meant. The University of Montana's Acoustic Ecology Lab documented what researchers call interrupted stridulation, partial silences that occur when a stimulus is close enough to register but not immediate enough to trigger full alarm. A large mammal moving slowly at the yard's edge. A predatory bird landing silently nearby. These short pauses, the researchers found, represent the crickets deciding, run or resume. Every brief lull in the sound outside your bedroom window was a decision being made. Something was near the fence line, or behind the shed, or along the tree line at the back of your property. The crickets paused. They assessed. They came back. A woman in rural Ohio spent 3 summers believing the brief dips in cricket sound were caused by wind moving through the yard. One August night, unable to sleep at 1:30 in the morning, she sat by her open bedroom window and simply watched the dark. During one of those pauses, a red fox stepped out from behind her garden shed, crossed the yard in 6 slow steps, and slipped through the hedgerow. The crickets came back the moment it was gone. She told me she has never heard a lull the same way since. Tonight, the next time you notice a brief dip in the sound outside your window, count the seconds. Under 5 seconds, something passed through. Over 15 seconds, something stopped. The difference matters. Number 3, what silences them? The predators moving through your yard right now. Emotion, vulnerability, vertical bar. Something is actually out there every night. When crickets go fully silent for more than 30 seconds, they are almost always responding to something with weight, warmth, and intent. A mammal moving through their range with the low, deliberate movement of something that hunts. Ohio St. University researchers studying predator-prey acoustic interactions found that crickets specifically detect the ground vibrations produced by mammals over 15 pounds moving within 60 feet. A barred owl in flight, barely 1 pound, produces no response. But the moment that owl lands in the grass and takes a single step, every cricket within range goes silent within 0.3 seconds. It is not the predator they see. It is the vibration they feel through the ground. Your backyard right now, after midnight, contains the exact animals that trigger that response. Red fox, raccoon, coyote, opossum. They move through the same yard where you drink your morning coffee. They have been moving through it every single night for years. The crickets have been announcing every entrance. You have been asleep. Think about the corner nearest your fence, the gap beside the garage, the area behind the shed where the porch light doesn't reach. That is where they come in. The silence starts there first, every time. Next time the crickets go silent tonight, note where your bedroom window faces. If the silence begins on one side and moves across, you just tracked something crossing your yard in real time. The crickets did it for you. Number 4. The crickets know you. Your presence changes their sound, emotion. Intimate plus personal vertical bar. It knows I am here. Here is the part that shifts something. The crickets in your yard have not just been monitoring predators, they have been monitoring you. Researchers at the University of California, Davis, studying cricket behavior around occupied homes, found that crickets in yards with regular human nighttime activity developed measurably shorter silence durations in response to human movement than crickets in undisturbed yards. In yards where people regularly walked outside after dark, sat on porches, or opened windows in the evening, the cricket's alarm silence in response to that specific person's footstep pattern was, on average, 67% shorter than their response to an unfamiliar movement. The crickets had learned the weight, the rhythm, the specific sound of someone they had heard before. You have been classified by your own yard's crickets. Your footsteps on the back steps at 11 p.m. registered differently than a stranger's would. You earned that through repetition, through nights you didn't know anyone was paying attention. A retired nurse in Vermont started sitting on her back steps every night at 10 p.m. last summer. By August, she noticed the crickets came back within seconds of her sitting down, where earlier in the season they had stayed silent for nearly a full minute after she came outside. She hadn't changed. They had learned her. Tonight, step outside quietly after 11 p.m. Stand still and count the seconds before the crickets resume. That number is a measure of how well they know you. Come back in a week. See if it's shorter. Number 5. The coordination. How they all know at once emotion. Awe plus slight fear, vertical bar. It is smarter than I thought. The most extraordinary part of cricket silence is not what causes it. It is the speed and precision with which it spreads. Smithsonian Institution researchers studying acoustic synchrony in Orthoptera, the insect order that includes all cricket species, found that individual crickets do not need to directly detect the threat. They need only to register the sudden cessation of a neighboring cricket's chirp. That one silence triggers the next, and the next, traveling outward at approximately 340 meters per second, the speed of sound itself. Across an average backyard, the silence completes in under 2 seconds, with no central coordination, no leader, no signal beyond the absence of sound itself. Your yard's cricket population runs a real-time, distributed alarm network. Every individual is both a sensor and a transmitter. When something enters the network's range, the warning moves across your entire yard in under 2 seconds, carried not by any single cricket, but by the silence between them. The oldest alarm system in your yard has no headquarters. It operates entirely on the absence of sound, and it has been running without interruption every night since long before anyone built a house on that land. Tonight, when the silence comes, listen for the direction it moves. It always begins somewhere specific. That is not random. That is the network telling you exactly where to look. Number 6. The ancient moment. This has kept mammals alive for 300 million years. Emotion, transcendent plus profound vertical bar. The most mind-expanding point. Saved for last. This is the one I want you to carry with you after this video. The cricket alarm system you have been hearing outside your bedroom window is not a modern behavior. It is not even a recent one. It is one of the oldest communication systems on this planet. Crickets have existed for approximately 300 million years. Emotion. The stridulation mechanism, the way they generate sound by moving one wing against another, appears in the fossil record from the Triassic period. University of Washington Paleoacoustics. Researchers have documented that early mammals, the direct ancestors of every mammal alive today, evolved acute sensitivity to sudden insect silence as a primary environmental alarm signal. Before language, before fire, before anything we would recognize as human culture, our ancestors lay in the dark and listened to cricket sound, and they went still when it stopped. The physical response you feel when your yard goes suddenly silent, that alertness that arrives before thought, researchers estimate that reflex is between 180 and 220 million years old. The silence that woke you at 11:48 tonight, activated the same ancient circuitry that kept your ancestors alive through every night they ever survived. The crickets spoke. Your nervous system heard them the way every mammal that has ever lived has heard them. You simply did not have the word for what you were feeling. Tonight, when you lie down and the cricket sound fills your window, let yourself hear it differently, not as background but as a live broadcast. And when it stops, don't dismiss the stillness. Something in the dark just moved. The crickets know. Now you do too. The night outside your window is not quiet. It has never been quiet. What you have been hearing is background. That ambient rolling pulse of cricket sound is a live information network that runs from full dark until first light, broadcasting the position and movement of every living thing in your yard. You are not locked out of this world. You have been adjacent to it every single night of your life. The sounds that used to be background are now language. The silences especially. Every human who ever lived fell asleep to these sounds. Most of them knew what the silences meant. They had to. Now you know too. Your yard after dark is not empty. It is the most alive it will be all day. The crickets are not decoration. They are the yard's oldest record keepers, logging every entrance, marking every departure, broadcasting every warning in a language made entirely of silence. What you carry now that you didn't carry this morning is the ability to hear what your body has always already known. The night speaks in the space between sounds. Now you know how to listen. Have you ever been lying in bed and felt the cricket sound outside your window stop all at once and felt something shift in you before you understood why? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. These are the stories I carry longest. I'll see you after dark.